Ciao a todos!
Welcome back to our channel.
Yeah, in this video we're going to take you along as we travel through 2 Mexican airlines.
We are going to fly from Puerto Vallarta to Guadalajara and then from Guadalajara back home to California. We're flying the budget airlines here in Mexico, so we thought we would take you along, show you what that looks like, and see how it differs from America's major airlines like United and Hawaiian and all that stuff.
So buckle up your seatbelts and let's go along for a ride.
Let's get this show on the road, or this plane off the ground.
Hi, I'm Avi.
And I'm V. Traveling isn't just about where you go, it's also about what you experience along the way.
We'll show you how we've learned to travel smarter, eat better, and play harder,
so that you can experience more.
For the first part of this journey, we flew from Puerto Vallarta to Guadalajara on Viva Aerobus, and we downloaded the app prior to arriving at the airport, just like we would for any other airline, and joined their mileage club. We were able to check in online and get our boarding passes before we arrived at the airport. However, when we got there, we started noticing some discrepancies between what my phone was saying and what Veronica's phone was saying.
So we're not quite sure what gate we're supposed to go to and what time our plane's actually leaving. My boarding pass says gate 15, Avi's says gate 5, and the board here says it's 2 hours delayed. So we're gonna go find out. We didn't get a text or anything about it. We downloaded the app and I haven't gotten a notification, so I don't know, we're gonna find out.
3:24, that's the estimated time in 24 hours.
Lame.
Yeah.
We would have hung out at the resort for a little while longer if we had gotten any kind of notice about that. But let's figure that it might be at gate 15 because it's delayed, so the gate's probably been changed. So let's go with what the app is currently saying. So let's head towards there.
So we're delayed and we're gonna, looks like, have to take a bus to our terminal.
Yeah.
We're at the lower deck of the main hall of flights.
That can be the case sometimes with these budget airlines. One of the ways that they save money is by not contracting the more expensive gates. That's why there's such a long boarding time between boarding and taking off, because you got a bus, yeah. Okay, so we've got a couple hours to kill. So, yeah.
Just gonna hang out. Once the boarding call came, we hopped onto one of the 2 buses that pulled up.
Getting crowded.
Yep. It was just a few minutes to take a ride across the tarmac, and then we entered the plane via some stairs. Once we were on the plane, we quickly found our seats and stowed our suitcases in one of the overhead bins. This flight actually had a bunch of empty seats, and so storage wasn't an issue for us. That's a little different, taking a bus to an airplane, but that was fine.
The biggest difference that I've noticed so far, besides being bussed to the plane, is the seats are very, very thin without a lot of padding. So I wouldn't want to be in these seats for a super long time. And I don't think they recline. Yeah, there's no recline. And no adjustable headrests. So yeah, that's the biggest difference so far is the seat quality. Looks like we might have lucked out and gotten the whole row to ourselves.
Yeah. I have to share a row with this lady?
Is an Airbus A321, which has 10 emergency exits, 2 on the backside, 2 behind the wings.
It's worth noting that despite this being a purely domestic flight within the country of Mexico, the in-flight instructions were given in both English and in Spanish every time.
De seguridad, inserte la punta de metal dentro de la hebilla y ajuste. Para desabrocharlo, levante la tapa.
And here's a quick look at the food menu that we found in a seat pocket. Looks like they had a pretty decent selection of food and drinks available, although they did charge for a bottle of water. This was just a short flight, so there was only one meal service offered. But they do take credit cards, so if you're hungry, they've got you covered. And after a quick taxi and a smooth takeoff, we were on our way to Guadalajara. This happened to be a quick flight, just under an hour, but it was a beautiful flight. The plane's course took us out over the always beautiful Bay of Banderas, and then immediately as we headed over land, we were treated with a vista of cities, mountains, and countrysides. It was a gorgeous day with a beautiful, clear sky and some lovely clouds. And before we knew it, we were touching down in Guadalajara. Looks like we might have to take a bus to the terminal.
Probably.
It turns out we had to do exactly that, so we descended the stairs and boarded the buses heading out to the terminal. It's pretty packed. We might even have to do 2 bus loads, so we got into this one. Definitely turning people away. After a short bus ride, we found ourselves at the terminal, and so we made our way to the taxi stand. If you're interested in seeing what navigating this airport is like, or what it's like to travel to Guadalajara in general, we've got videos about that we'll link to in the description.
Well, it's about 6 a.m. and we are about to check out of our hotel here in Guadalajara and head back to the airport.
Flight is with Volaris this time, and yeah, we're heading back home.
Yeah, we had to change our flights. We're heading home a little bit early on this trip. I had booked this trip with Volaris through Frontier. Changing the flights was a bit of a pain in the ass. When I would go on one app and it told me I could change, I would click on the change option and then it would tell me I have to change it with the other company. And then when I would go to that company, they would tell me I had to change it with the other. And this went back and forth several times. I had to contact customer service to finally get a link, which actually worked for me to change the flights.
And I had to pour a little cold water on her to cool her down.
Just a little. This can happen with any airline, no matter what country it's based in, but it's just a lesson learned. Always spend a little bit extra and just book directly with the airline, because if you do need to change anything, it's so much easier to just be able to go right to one company. But anyway, let's get back on to what it looks like to fly on Mexico's budget airlines with Volaris, or Volaris, or however the fuck they pronounce it.
As before, we downloaded the Airlines app and joined their mileage club. We tried to check in online, but in this case, we were unable to. So when we got to the airport, we made our way to the check-in kiosks. Since we changed our flights super late, they didn't give us a boarding pass. At least a boarding pass online like usual through our mobile app. So we're trying to check in here in person.
Yay!
All right.
Oh, let's get in line.
So we're in the line that says check-in and special needs.
Where are you going? San Jose? You don't have boarding pass? We do not.
Thank you. It's kind of a funny little thing that humans get up really early and they're really tired and they like stand in a line, and everybody here looks really happy. We're all just like, blah. We're traveling. Well, it's been 45 minutes in that line, and we're about to be seen at the front desk. Finally next. So here we go. Where's the S? Hi. We need to check in. We need to get boarding passes.
San Jose, California.
Please.
¿Me ayudan con el pasaporte de Verónica?
This isn't specific to the airline, but Guadalajara Airport is known for having pretty long check-in lines. So if you can't get a boarding pass ahead of time, or if you have to check a bag, make sure to pad in some extra time to your airport arrival if you plan on flying through GDL. Doesn't hurt to know Spanish, you guys. I try talking to them in English whenever I can get a chance, but doesn't hurt to know Spanish. Luckily for us, despite the check-in lines being very long, passport and security lines were very short, and we made our way through them in just a few minutes. Okay, here is security, and we'll see you guys on the other side. All right, by comparison, that was really easy.
Yeah, that was like about 5 minutes through security, luckily.
Yeah.
So we have time to get to our gate.
Yes, and maybe even some food.
Maybe. See.
Well, things seem to be going our way. The gate was closer than it seemed, given its C37 number. It seemed kind of far.
Yeah, but it was literally a 3-minute walk from security.
Yeah, and we even have time. I had time to get a hat, buy a hat, and get some food.
Yeah, we have about 30 minutes, so we're kind of rushing to eat, but we're getting some breakfast.
We quickly ate and made our way to our boarding gate.
I guess because that's the new entry and exit procedures. Last when we flew in, we weren't given the FMM form. We were given a little ticket instead with a QR code. We downloaded it, and it was already pre-filled out with all of our info on the QR code, and we just had to
Have that ready in case somebody wanted to check it.
yeah, so that they could scan it and get our info that way.
We checked our bags for this leg of the journey, so we didn't have to worry about overhead bin space. However, there was plenty of it available, so we found our seats and got comfortable. And just like our earlier flight, the in-flight announcements were given in both English and in Spanish.
About halfway through our flight now, and how would you rate these seats compared to Aerobuses? Definitely.
Neither one of them had flat legs.
Yeah, just the headrest. I would say this is a little more comfortable than Viva Aerobus. The seats are a little more padded, there's a little more leg room. Some of the seats do recline. They're all supposed to. Mine seems to be broken. Yeah.
Yeah, they came by earlier with their little drink cart, fill, get sugar filled stuff.
They charge for water, though. Like a lot of American Airlines will give you just free water. They charge you for water.
They take cash, they take pesos, they take cards.
Well, we are about to land. Smooth flight. They had one meal service. Pretty much exactly the same as flying any other airline, honestly.
We're back in hometown territory.
We hope you enjoyed this glimpse into what it looks like to fly on Mexico's budget airlines. If you want to get around the country for an affordable price, we definitely recommend giving them a try.
Yes, we do. So thanks so much for watching this video, and we'll hope to see you in the next one.
Bye.
Arrivederci.